Probably got to get the wide angle.
Welcome to Taylor Stadium, Haralson County High School. Week 2 of the high school football season. We welcome you to our Tailgate Show presented by the Inoventive Benefits Consulting Group under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent, and we have the broadcast tent. It got ugly looking here about 3:30 or 3:45. Joel was over there doing prayer and everything else. Thankfully, it has not rained. I'm going to say yet so I don't jinx this, fellas. So far, the weather's been good. It was, cloudy till right after lunch here in the Haralson County area. I'll put that. And actually, I had to run, obviously, to Carrollton to get ready for this today. And boom, I ran into a shower on the way, and I thought, great. But so far, so good. To my left, this is Jay Webb. To my right, the coach, David Thrower. I'm Mike Parrish. Thanks for joining us, both on Facebook Live and YouTube streaming. Joel's behind the scenes. Joel Brock putting us all together, trying to keep us straight, or at least keep me straight anyway. So, week 1 in the books. Week 2, we look ahead here in a moment. But first, let's go back to last week. Jay, I'll start with you. We rehashed it to Red Zone, but we had time to digest what happened last week and so forth. Anything now, after you've had a chance to look at what happened, anything that jumps out at you from week 1?
Yeah, I think just looking at my notes here, Temple McNair game, man, what a just offensive shootout, 69-40. Temple won that, and got to be interesting to see. I think Temple takes care of business tonight, but I did, looking back over those numbers, the quarterback from McNair had 233 yards rushing and 389 yards passing.
Pretty good night.
That's a pretty good night. And so I know he's a big boy. I know he's a great athlete. But just seeing how Temple adjusts defensively to not give up that many. They still gave up 40 there. Obviously, they exploded with 69 points of their own. But that was a really big line item for them. But they did their own thing. I was looking at Temple, their offensive line. You got to give a shout out to the offensive line, right, Coach Thrower?
Absolutely. The big boys are working.
You can't leave the Hogs out. The Hogs blocked. Temple had 451 yards on the ground last week. So shout out to the Temple offensive line. So hopefully they keep doing what they do.
I think they got some love towards the high school daily. They were on that honor roll.
Yep,
the offensive line.
I used to tell those wing-tee guards, I said, you the Cadillac of this offense.
That's right.
I said, you're going to take us where we want to go.
That's right.
Coach, what about you after you had a chance to digest everything?
2 things I would say stood out. Number 1, Juju has graduated, but they're still playing football in Carrollton.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to be okay. They haven't packed it in. Joey King didn't get the memo, so I think they're still lifting weights. They're still watching film, and they still got a bunch of good players and some really good coaches. So Trojans, that's pretty impressive start. I'll be interested to see how their non-region shakes out, but I think they got a good football team, and they're going to make some noise. And then I would give a shout out for Haralson and Mount Zion, because both of those teams come off of tough years last year. They come back. They get their opener on the road, both of them. Now tonight, the question is, can they go 2-0? Both of these teams are playing teams that were barn burners last year. I think Haralson lost a close game at Pike, and Mount Zion won a close game at Rammer. So now they're both at home. So if they can take care of business tonight and they can go 2-0, now you're setting yourself off to have a really good start. So I think both of those programs are in good shape, and but that's the 2 things that stood out really more than anything.
I'm just going to leave and let these guys take over and take the show home the rest of the way. I don't have to do anything.
No, we need the pro, man. We got to have the pro.
Yeah, watch me trip over this one more time here. All right, so we got a full slate of action coming up tonight. Bremen's in action for the first time. I think I've talked to Rooster Russell more in the last 2 days than I've talked to him in the whole time I've been a part of this. So, by the way, Bremen fans, you do kick off at 7:30 tonight. Somehow it got out. It was at 7. I got calls about it earlier today. It is 7:30. I think they forgot to change the graphic. That's what led to all this. So anyway, they're playing at 7:30 tonight. So you got Bremen in action this evening. So everybody playing tonight here in the local area. When we come back, we're going to start talking about some of these games. We got a couple of guests who are going to join us hopefully here before we're done a little bit later on. Vic Coggins, who is the principal here, was a long-time teacher and coach as well before he got into administration. I understand he could nail it from outside from the three-point line in his high school career here for the Rebels. So we're going to talk to him. And Brandon Wood, who played here with the University of Georgia and does a great thing every year, benefits the Haralson County football program, the Haralson County schools, has a back-to-school shopping spree. It's the Brandon Wood football camp. It's in early June, late May, early June. Every year right after school's out, we're going to talk to Brandon about that. And they've raised with the numbers they had this year, over $100,000, and you were a part of that, I know, Jay, with FCA when it first got started too. Yep. So we're going to talk to Brandon about that, and also I'll remind you tonight at halftime of the broadcast, don't turn it off or turn it down or anything. Mr. Haralson County.
Yes. Coach.
Randy Patterson's going to be the guest at halftime tonight. I can tell you 5 minutes ain't anywhere near long enough to talk to him. We got to sit there for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. If you want to know about Haralson County athletics, that's the guy you got to talk to. So we'll talk to Coach Patterson. He's the halftime guest tonight at each of our broadcasts of tonight's games. And we'll talk all about that and more when we continue with the Innovative Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent. We're back to get it going for week 2 in a moment here from Graddock Sports. Welcome back to the Innovative Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent. And also, our tailgate show brought to you by Addison Smith Medical Contractor, Amy Brown State Farm Insurance, Brown's Pools and Spas, John Thornton Cadillac Buick GMC, Pert Disposal Service, Rainwater Funeral Home, and Evergreen Tree Service. So, got all that covered here. Get their mentions in here. We get into the first time tonight. We break it down in our Carrollton City Schools regional breakdown. Carrollton City Schools, character, courage, and community are what we're all about. If you want to learn more, go online, schedule a tour. Carrollton City Schools. All right, so we had 9 games tonight. Hi there, Karis. I go to church with her. So she doesn't even know what's going on. No clue. All right, so tonight, Temple's at home, Herd's at home, and Bremen's at home. Herd County will entertain South Atlanta. Bremen against, I didn't know this, the Red Jackets of Jordan High School. Red Jackets.
Red Jackets.
And Temple, you mentioned it, Jay. We'll jump right out there with them. 69 points last week, but they gave up 40. And they'll face a Clarkston team. They gave up 49 last week to Herd County.
Yes.
So your thoughts on that matchup tonight?
Yeah, I think Temple continues to roll, scoring big. I think, last week we just mentioned it, 451 yards on the ground. The offensive line was moving people. JoJo Jones had 150 yards on the ground. Jaden McDaniel had 112 on the ground. So I think with a game against Clarkston tonight, maybe they see if they can get Gribben a little bit more in the game and see what they can work on in the passing. I think they know the wing tee's going to go and they're going to run it. But let's see if they work on some things tonight just in the week 2. But I expect them to win big, and let's see if they can hopefully have JV in by third quarter.
I probably should even ask this. Does Clarkston have a chance tonight, really?
No, not really. I mean, this is going to be ugly. But if you're Temple, it's still important because you only get to do this 10 times. You're only guaranteed 10 of them. And if you're Temple, you want to keep executing on offense, but defensively, and I saw the first half of that game, so most of their issues, I guess, defensively came in the second half because that's where most of the points came. But you want to tackle better, you want to make sure your alignment's right, and you want to rally to the ball and do those little things on defense that make the difference between being average and being good, or being good and being great. So for Temple, it's really more about Temple than it is Clarkston, but you still got to go out there and play, and really you want to go out there and have a good performance.
All right, so Temple against Clarkston, and again the Tigers very impressive last week, especially on offense. Defensively, probably worked on a few things this week, wouldn't you think?
I would think so. I think they probably tighten some things up, as Coach said, some alignments, and just kind of figure out where they can be pre-snap to be better. And I think they'll come out and make those adjustments tonight. And I'm with Coach. I think Temple needs to worry about Temple tonight. Don't do anything crazy, and be the best them they can be, and they should take care of business pretty easily.
All right, Staples Stadium. I tell you, to me, that's a neat place to watch a game. That's a beautiful setting.
Absolutely,
I think in Franklin,
really one of the nicer places in the area.
So Heard County at home tonight. They entertain South Atlanta. I want to start with you, Coach. They're the favorite, I know, and I saw something, and I'm not into odds in high school football, but I did see what Georgia High School Football Daily does. I was a little surprised. Heard County about a 9-point favorite.
Well, I don't know a lot about South Atlanta, and I don't know a lot about this year's edition of South Atlanta. But Heard and South Atlanta had butted heads several times the last few years. I think they played each other in a 2-year cycle a couple years ago. Now they played them last year. I might have made the playoffs one year. But I know that for Heard, South Atlanta is going to be a step up in competition by far. So I would expect this game to be closer. I think Heard's still in good shape, and I think Heard's got a chance to have a really good football team this year. But it's a little bit like Temple that you want to concentrate on Heard. Right now it's still the non-region portion of your schedule. But the thing you got to remember about the Temples, the Harrelsons, the Bremans, and Heard is they're all part of the power ranking. Right. So every one of these games count just as much. The region games are important, but these games are important too because they all go into the power ranking. So you want to go out there and execute. You want to go out there and play. And you want to get better from week 1 to week 2. And I think that's what Heard's going to do.
Well, the little birdies flying around, everybody may be worried about the power rankings this time next year.
They could be.
Yeah, and who knows? I've got my thoughts on all that, but we won't get into that here.
Not today. Not right now.
No.
From a coaching standpoint, I know it was over at halftime last week with Heard and Clarkston. Early in the season, you get to get guys some playing time, some experience to help them that haven't been there before. So that's a help. But on the flip side, can it hurt you where your guys don't get as many snaps, your starters and let's say you're too deep?
I think the thing about Heard is they played a couple of pretty good scrimmages. They played not Callaway. They played Central, and then they also scrimmaged Trine. Mm-hmm. Now, they handled Trine pretty well, but still Trine's a pretty good football program. So they got a chance to see their guys in the scrimmage kind of where they're at. So you don't mind having a game or two like this on your schedule, especially on the front end, kind of get you geared up. And a lot of times you don't start your JV schedule until about the second, third week of the varsity season. So those young kids that got a shot to play last week, I guarantee you they went out there, they practiced a little better on scout team this week. They felt a little bit better about themselves. And I just think it's important program-wise that if you're in a spot like Heard where you got a good program and you're going to win some games every year and you're pretty much going to be a playoff team every year, you need a couple of games like that so you can kind of get all those cats in there and let them get some reps. And I know I always tried to get at least one series with the JV backs and the starting offensive line. That way they got the better linemen up there for at least a series so they got a chance to make some plays. And I think it's important early. You just don't want 4 in a row like that, but 1 or 2 early in the year. And I don't think South Atlanta's in that category. I think South Atlanta's going to come to play tonight, but I just think Heard's still a better program, better team.
Carrollton City Schools school schedule breakdown, regional breakdown here, week 2 of the season. Jay, your thoughts, Heard County tonight?
Yeah, I think you got tell the 2 games where we started out. We started out with the Temple, which was 69-40. Then you look at Heard's defense last week. They beat Clarkston 49-6, and I think his coach talking about it. Clarkston's if I look at this correct on Max Preps, last week Heard County had 29 tackles for loss.
Wow.
29 tackles for loss, led by Max Lassiter, of course. He had 4 on his own. So, tell of 2 totally different games there. So South Atlanta's going to bring more.
Right.
Obviously, South Atlanta lost last week to Jackson 20-3, so they haven't quite got their offense going either. But again, I think Heard County rolls tonight. Tisdale continues to have a great night. Had 4 touchdowns last week, 237 yards passing, 13 for 14, so very efficient last week. And so I think he continues to have a big night, just grows into the quarterback that he is. So Heard wins. It won't be Clarkston, but I think they still handle business and get to the next week.
Are these games good early in the year to build some confidence?
Again, I think it's okay to play 1 or 2. I don't think you want back to back like that.
Right.
But I think early in the year you like to have them kind of sandwiched in right before a game or 2, like maybe a rival game or a great opponent. But I think Heard turns around next week and plays Rabun County, which is going to be a big. No, I think they got a North Carolina school.
Murphy.
I think they got Murphy. So that'll be
a test.
Murphy beat them last year.
Yeah.
So
and they won the state title.
right, okay. So that's a good program. They've been good for a long time. They used to play Darlington. I've seen them on film before. So Heard's. I think you're on the right track. I think last week. I think this week's a step up from last week. Next week will probably be a step up from this week. So I think you're okay where you're at right now. Like I said, you just don't want too many cupcakes. You want to have some guys that's going to test you early. And like I said, they've already seen Central. They saw Trine, so they play good competition.
You guys in a band before? At any point in time, did you play an instrument?
No, sir. No.
Did you play an instrument?
No, sir.
Y'all are like me.
Yeah.
I like listening to radio, but
There you
that's
go.
as far as I go.
I can't even sing in the shower. The water cuts off if I sing in the shower, man. That's the Haralson County Band here behind us. They're getting some work in before tonight's kickoff. Is the Rebels going to play host to the Pirates of Pike County? We're going to talk about that one a little bit later. Bremen Blue Devils. We're going to stay in Haralson County for a moment. Open date last week to start the year. I think just talking to – I can't call him Davis. That just doesn't sound like it. Talking to Rooster Russell earlier in the week, he was a little antsy. I think they had their little gathering, downtown? And
it got rained out. But
they did something.
They got there for about 30 minutes.
They were able to do something.
Yeah.
So they open tonight with the Red Jackets of Jordan. And this is another one that, he can play everybody probably before it's over, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And it's not much to recap there. Jordan was off last week too.
Yes.
So both, game 1 for both teams. Bremen's going to come out antsy. They're ready. They've put in work. They had 2 scrimmages as well. Some good competition in that, but I don't expect this to be much of a competition. I was with Rooster last weekend at a volleyball tournament and excited for these guys. And I think Eli Brock, when we look at Bremen, kind of look ahead to tonight. I was talking to Coach Russell last week and talking about the Commerce game back last season, and Eli came to him at the end of the game and said, man, the game got slower. And I think that's what you want. And I think Eli's going to come out as his junior campaign with almost a full season under his belt, and he's going to come out. The game's really slowed down for him. Incredible arm, and I think they're going to have a big night offensively tonight.
Yeah, same thing. I think Rooster's going to spend that 20 minutes during halftime trying to figure out who he's going to put in the third and fourth quarter. He may play the starters a little bit in the third, just so, like you said earlier, for conditioning purposes. But this is going to be it's going to be a good night in Bremen to be a Blue Devil. I think they roll tonight. But and again, this tonight's about Bremen. I think Bremen's poised to have a good season this year. They got a good football team. They're well coached. They got some returning players with a lot of experience last year. Some of them were kind of forced into duty.
Right.
But I think they're going to benefit from that at this point. And I look for them to get win 1 under their belt tonight.
Yep.
Well, hopefully they come out unscathed because they got a game next week that's going to mean a little bit.
There'll be some talk about that.
Yeah, during the week next.
That was my nose here, Mike. Is like don't get caught up looking at Bowden yet. Do what you need to do first half.
Take care of business.
Take care of business. Worry about Bremen. Do what you're supposed to do first half. Hopefully, coach is getting the JV guys ready during halftime. But don't get too far ahead of yourself looking at Bowden because that's obviously going to be a natural tendency.
I'm going to say this too. That this is the beauty of this radio stuff because for 30 years, this is absolutely none of the conversation I ever wanted to have with anybody. Coaches, players, or I used to scold young coaches when they would talk like this about somebody we were playing. I mean, I would literally talk ugly to a couple of these young guys. You know what I mean? And so
I don't doubt that.
Now that I'm getting, no, I can say it like it is now. So Bremen's going to roll. Temple's going to roll, and I think Hurt's got a good shot to roll tonight, too. So.
So does it feel good to get that out of your system,
Yeah,
flush it a little bit?
Sometimes you just got to let it roll. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but for 30 years, I was like trained. You know, I wasn't Vince Dooley, but I was pretty close. You know what I mean? So.
I did sit down and talking to Rooster, and you'll hear that interview coming up on Coach's Clinic in a little bit. And you know probably as much about this or more than I do, quite honestly, because you're a part of it. But so far, good news on Carson Kimball. He had I'm going to say treatment a few weeks ago, and so far everything has been positive from that. And at some point in time, he does a second one, I understand. But everything right now, I mean, it's good news at this point, and he's got a lot of hope for some things, doesn't he?
No, he is, and he's a fighter. And, it was a stem cell implant they did for him, and he did that a few weeks back, very successful. They like the results of that. They'll do the second treatment here coming up in the near future, and again, man, Carson Kimball's not giving up. He's fighting, and we've seen that firsthand over the last year. And I think the stem cell stuff was a big shot of hope and faith in him, and to be able to do what he's trying to do, and that's walk again. So.
I'll never forget, as long as I live, the things that I've done in almost 50 years in broadcasting now. But last year, Haralson County Bremen game, we're there with the Tailgate show. Mm-hmm. Didn't know he was coming. Rooster didn't know he was coming. Mm-hmm. Only a couple of people knew he was coming in. That is a moment I'll never forget. Yeah. Well, he is, and to hear him talk, and I've heard him since then, he is a special young man.
He really is. He really is. So,
that's a story of courage right there.
Oh,
that's just courage.
Yep. No, he's got it now. I was there the night it happened, and it'll be a moment I will never forget either. And so, yep.
Well, you were on the field.
Was on the field with him, second guy to him. So. Right there holding his hand during the middle of all of it. So that family's incredible, and praying for the whole Kimball crew. But, man, Carson strong. That's what we say.
I got one of those.
Yep.
Our schedule breakdown here, opening segment of that, presented by Carrollton City Schools, where they expect excellence in every person, in every program, in every performance. They go for gold at Carrollton City Schools. Vic Coggins is coming up. We're going to talk to him, the principal of Haralson County. So you two guys go back, huh?
Vic, he wasn't. I don't think he was a first-year teacher when we were at Villarica, but he was pretty young at that point in his career. I know Jason Robinson had just taken over as the boys' basketball coach because J. Rob had been an assistant for a couple of years, and then he took over the program, and Vic came in as his top assistant. And I think Vic was there 2 years, maybe 3. I'm not sure, but I was in the gym. He was in social studies, but the fact that he coached, we crossed paths a good bit. So, yeah, good guy, good dude. I knew he was sharp, when he was young. So a guy like that, he was destined to do some good things in education.
We're going to continue with the Inoventive Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show. They are located in Bremen and in Villarica. Try that again. Villarica. See, I told you I was going to trip.
VR.
That is much simpler. Villarica. Benefits consultants beyond the status quo is what you get at Inoventive Benefits. So we'll continue the tailgate show under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent. Vic Coggins will join us. We come back after this from Graddick Sports. We welcome you back to the Inoventive Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent. Don't be taken advantage of by out-of-town roofers. Trust the only hometown roofing company from inspection to repairs to replacements and your insurance claims. Serving the local community in West Georgia and in East Alabama, Deep South Roofing. Dedicated, dependable, and a proud sponsor of high school sports here in our local area. Our first guest of the night joins us, principal here at Haralson County High School. A former player here, basketball player. Did you play anything else?
I played a little bit of everything.
Did you play football?
Football, baseball, tennis. Got a little basketball.
I did not know that.
Too, so yeah.
But now, you were pretty good on the basketball court, I hear.
Well, that certainly depends on who you ask. So.
I heard when it got in your hands, it didn't come out most of the time. It went straight to the rim. Is that right?
Well, I don't know about that. When you play with a 6'9", you're going to throw it to the 6'9" most of the time.
So Vic Coggins joins us again, principal here at Haralson County High School. He played at West Georgia, been a teacher, been in the classroom, into administration, and now third year principal?
His fifth year.
Fifth year, excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, as the principal here.
At Haralson County High School.
That's right.
Going all the way back to your playing days in high school, did you want to get into coaching when you were in school? Did you think about it at that time?
I'm going to be honest with you guys. That was probably the furthest thing from my mind at the time. So I had a wonderful time here at Haralson County High School.
Read into that what we want, right?
Yes. But my plan was to go to UGA, and I had no idea from there. But things kind of fell in place that summer. Had a chance to go over to West Georgia, and they offered some things, and it just played out that way, and it was wonderful. I enjoyed my time at West Georgia.
Patterson guy didn't influence you, did he?
Well, let's go ahead and say that may have been a big piece of that puzzle. So.
All right, so you play at West Georgia. You played for Murphy, is that right?
I did, Coach Murphy.
Ed Murphy?
Yes, absolutely.
Your whole career there?
Yes, okay. Coach Murphy was awesome. I kind of stepped into a whole new world. I thought I was.
I tell you, Thrower and Murphy got some things in common. I'll just put it that way.
I can see that. I can see that 100%. So, yeah.
I think he was a little more of a legend. I'm a little bit more of a journeyman.
Your personalities, though, there's some similarities in here. I'll put it that way. So, coming out of West Georgia, then did that change your mind? Did you want to coach at that point?
Oh yeah, sure. After a couple of years of playing there for Coach Murphy, I guess the love of the game was always there, and then the influences around me, a lot of teachers and coaches that I grew up around, and so I made that decision and don't regret it a bit. So.
Classroom coaching. Where were your stops along the way?
Yeah, so started out, left West Georgia, graduated, and thought I knew everything, of course, and got a job at Hiram High School.
Okay.
Kind of fell into that job and got hired as a basketball coach and a social studies teacher. Thought everything I knew exactly what I was going to be doing, and I show up late July, and they tell me, you can either continue to coach basketball, but we also need you to coach something else, so you can be the head cross-country coach. And I had to say, what's cross-country, guys? So they signed me up, and it went from there. But I had a great experience there in Paulding County at Hiram High School. Had some really good basketball teams in those 4 years. And then had a friend call me and got the chance to come over to Villa Rica High School and work with Jason Robinson over there. And
another Haralson County guy.
And some more legends, like the guy sitting beside me here over at VR. No, hardly. So,
far from it.
Wonderful group. Coach Parsons, all those guys I think about at the time when I got to Villa Rica. That was a wonderful group to grow and learn
Top-notch
from.
guy right there.
Yeah.
He's one of the best.
Bill Parsons? Is that who?
Biff's dad.
Oh, Biff's dad. Okay. Wow.
Ronnie.
I didn't know
Ronnie
that.
Parsons.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So got to learn a lot of things from those guys. Just Coach Parsons, just could work with anybody and everybody, and a lot like Coach Patterson here. He worked with every sport to make every sport as best they could be. So.
And then you ended up at Bowden for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, a couple years at VR in the classroom. Then I got a chance to be the head coach at Bowden. So that was a wonderful experience to be the head basketball coach, and that title of cross country coach. After 1 year, that lasted my whole career. I coached cross country for the next 12, 13 years. But I developed a love for that too. That was a lot of fun. Also.
Did you run with him?
I ran with him every day. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, they got a young lady now who is out of this world at Bowden as far as distance runner cross country.
I saw that. I actually got to see a little bit of that. Went to the state meet last year and got to experience a little bit of that. So.
So, administration, what was the calling? What led you into administration?
Well, sometimes in this world of education, you volunteer, and sometimes you get voluntold. So, working in Carroll County, I'd kind of worked in that direction. My last couple of years at Bowden, I did sort of a half-day admin job there, and Mr. Cowart came calling and said it was time. So, went back to Villa Rica as an administrator, and you get a chance to really learn and do. It's very hands-on, and you got a chance to learn a lot of things at Villa Rica those first 3 years in administration. So,
Vic Coggins, principal currently at Haralson County High School, our guest here on the Innovative Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent. To be back home, is it pretty special to be here where you went to school?
Yeah,
take care of kids like you were at high school.
Sure, absolutely. Didn't see it coming, but those opportunities present themselves, and I couldn't ask for anything better. It's been a truly a blessed experience to come back here and work with these people that I've known for a long time. I've kind of gone for 15 years. To be able to come back and work with all these people, it's really been great.
And you have a son that's a pretty good athlete, I understand, plays lacrosse.
Well, pretty good athlete, I'd say. He, maybe not like his dad, but he plays with a little lacrosse and a little football.
Oh. How is it to have one playing? Do you try to coach him in lacrosse? Do you know
well, no, I'm not much help at lacrosse.
He picked the perfect sport then.
I am not much help with lacrosse. I try to tell him little things about being athletic and doing different things and just working hard and taking all the lessons that you learn in every sport. But that one he's kind of on its own. I've picked up the game a little bit watching him over the last 5-6 years. But it's been fun. It's a different game, but it's fun.
I think you told me he's got a chance maybe to play at the next level.
Possibly. A small school, he might catch on somewhere. He's as a freshman and a sophomore, he's done some really good things. So.
Well, like you said, West Georgia offered some things. He gets offered some things. You never know.
That's it. Got to take advantage of those. So.
In administration today and as a principal, obviously, especially since 2020, the whole world turned upside down. But what are some of the challenges that you are confronted with day in and day out?
Yeah, guys, I'll be honest with you. I think we kind of talk about the world of education as before COVID, pre-COVID, and post-COVID. It truly changed the world. It changes how we operate daily. It changes kind of the mindset of a lot of folks. Kids changed after COVID. A lot of them went home. They went virtual. So we had a lot of gaps that we had to fill for a lot of kids, and you saw a lot of kids stay virtual for several years after COVID, have gaps, and then do homeschool or do other things and then come back to us. So it's changed things. Unfortunately, it's changed the world of education, and we lost a lot of educators that didn't come back after COVID. So there are challenges not only in our school district, but every school district. There's less folks out there that are highly qualified. There are less folks that are willing to just pour into kids the same way they used to. So hopefully that's going to rebound. I think it's starting to slowly. Getting more teachers back in the field, but there's just everyday challenges with everything from staffing to mindset of kids that I think has changed. So it is challenging daily, but we've gotten off to a good start this school year.
3 weeks for y'all?
This is 3 weeks in, and all the first day stuff kind of drags out to 2 weeks sometimes. But rules and procedures, we hold our kids to a high standard here of behavior and high expectations for academics, and so getting all that out of the way, we feel like we're kind of getting in a routine finally, but getting that routine going every day and getting back in the swing of things. So you get rolling with sports, you get all the other things going, and you get everybody back in a routine, and everything goes well.
Well, obviously we're here because of football, but whether it's this or basketball, the band behind us or whatnot, those activities, how do they fit? How do they help as far as high school?
Well, guys, it's having kids be a part of something. Whether it's out here with marching band, we tell our kids to get involved. I think one of the greatest things we have at Haralson County right now is our College and Career Academy. We have 14 different pathways that these kids can get into, and if you think back, that wasn't a thing 15, 20 years ago. And we have this facility now where kids can get involved. They can be a part of whether it's ag, healthcare, you name it. They can get involved and be a part of something. We tell kids be part of something, be part of a lot of things. Whether you're athletics, fine arts, whatever it is, be involved. That helps kids every single day because they're engaged in that and they're engaged in the school.
Well, the old guy just walked up here. They can't see him. He's off camera. He's our halftime feature tonight, by the way. I think the interview's 7.5 minutes long, and it could have been 40 hours and 7 minutes or whatever.
Well, if you get him started, you may be here a while. So.
I couldn't get him to sit down. He had to show me everything in the historical room. Well, I was here 30 minutes before he ever got the interview going, like that. But and I asked him this question, so I'm going to throw this side of it at you. You mentioned Jason Robinson. He came through here. We're going to talk to Brandon Wood in a little while. My wife came through here, and is very close to him. Randy Patterson, what does he mean to you and as far as your career and where you are today?
Well, Mike, I'll just be honest with you. A lot of people know my story, but as far as a father figure, he was that for me, for sure. I wouldn't be here probably sitting in this chair today if it wasn't for Coach Patterson. So he had a huge influence on my life, just not only, playing basketball, but academically. If it was 97, he will know why it wasn't 100. So I always pushing to be better, pushing to do the right things, pushing to make good choices. So he's done that for me, but hundreds and hundreds of kids that have come through here that he's been a mentor for. So just absolutely wonderful person for the community still today. I had to remind him sometimes, you're not on the payroll anymore. You don't have to do all those things. But he
still got keys to get in, I can tell you.
He does it for free, but he just helped so many people in this community.
We got into places yesterday I didn't know I could get into over here, honestly.
Absolutely.
I want to go back to, what did you play in football? Wide receiver?
I played a little receiver, a little quarterback. So
you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, a little of both. So
did you coach football when you?
No, when I showed up at Hiram that first day, it was either you can coach football, but I already knew if you coach football, that's 12 months. So it was be the head cross country coach for a couple months or coach football and basketball. So I chose basketball and cross country.
Hiram was probably about a new school at that time.
Brand new, just opened up.
Yeah. It was open right around 2000 or maybe 98,
99, 2000.
Oh, 99,
first
2000.
Year.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
right.
That sounds right.
Had some really good athletes come through right from the very beginning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah. Good.
So, you got about another 30 years in you with doing this as far as
guys, when we have good days, I say I got about 5 more years in this business or longer. When the days are a little bit tougher, I say maybe 2 to 3 more. So we'll see.
2 to 3 days or years.
Yeah. That's right. Some days are better than others, but most days are pretty good.
I know you got other things to do with what's in a big game for you guys tonight, isn't it? A game that was winnable for you last year. You lost by a point on the road, but this is I think a big game maybe. I know it's early in the year, but a win here and you're 2-0 and a whole lot of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I know last year we were down in Pike County, sitting very close together, and watched that one play out. And you kind of look at things and size them up sometimes, right when teams run out on the field. And I thought we might be in for a long night. But we played really well, and we had the ball with a chance to win that game. And we didn't execute like we needed to, but we were right there. And that's kind of how a lot of games went last season for us early on. Injuries really hurt us at the end of last year, but getting off to a really good start last week, hopefully that's kind of set the tone and built some confidence. And, this would be big for us tonight to play really well.
Obviously, Kim Boyd watched your videos, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think he's a little faster than I was, but no, Kim had a great game last week. Several guys, I looked at the stat sheet, and several guys had lots of tackles. Saw some guys execute some things and look really good. I thought the defense really hustle effort. I thought that was great last week too.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys.
Good to see you.
Take care.
Thanks,
good to see you.
Vic Coggins, principal here at Haralson County High School, year 5 under his leadership are the Rebels. As we are rolling on here with the Innovative Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent. Also brought to you by Addison Smith Mechanical Contractor, Amy Brown State Farm Insurance, Brown's Pools and Spas, John Thornton Cadillac Buick GMC, Pert Disposal Service, Rainwater Funeral Home, and Evergreen Tree Service. It's a little hot out here. By the way, if you're watching Facebook Live or YouTube stream, you come by, I'm going to give you one of these fans, and it is a Buffalo Wild Wings fan, and the best part about it is it's 10% off. All you got to do is show them this. So you get a 10% off locations in Alabama, Georgia. If you want to drive to Louisiana, that's fine too, or I don't know why, but
If
you
we
can
get
go to
10 of
Mississippi.
these, that mean it's free?
No,
Is it 10% or is it?
I like your math, but no, I don't think
Okay,
they'll let
I
that
didn't know.
work.
I was just checking.
It's a good idea.
Well, I was thinking,
Were you a math teacher too?
Never.
Okay.
No, they didn't. They didn't trust me in the building with anything.
All right, we're coming back, and we're going to break down some more games that are scheduled for tonight. We got some more games to go through a little bit later on. Brandon Wood, one of the standouts, all-time greats here at Haralson County, will come join us as well. More of the Innovative Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent. We continue after these words. Braddock Sports.
Check. Yeah, it's still on. I think it's on still.
All right, don't look how I do this. This is not very, you're not supposed to do that on TV, but we're in tight quarters here, I guess. Next week, I'll have to bring a bigger table. I've already been chastised by Joel over there, but my JV table, yeah, that's how you refer to it.
Joel's trying to hurry us back from the break. We're not getting to hydrate like we wanted to, so
I'm trying over
I
there.
don't know what
the
he's
ladies
thinking.
were great. The ladies at the concession stand were great. She said just throw the band some love. So, yeah, the band's great back there because they took care of us with the water, fellas. So, y'all enjoy here for a moment while I'll do this. The Innovative Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing broadcast tent. We do this every Friday, 5 o'clock, before we get our coverage started here from Braddock Sports with our Friday Night Football. Don't forget, Red Zone Show will come up tonight, roughly, I'll say 10 o'clock, probably anywhere between 9:30 and 10. Problem tonight's going to be we got two games, one in Alabama, one here in Carroll County. They don't kick off till 8, so it may be right around 10 before we get it all going tonight. So Mount Zion's hosting Rambert. That's an 8 o'clock kick. Central on the road over at Oxford, taking on the Yellow Jackets of Oxford High School, and that one also is an 8 o'clock kickoff as well. So we've already talked about the Temple, the Heard County, and the – who was the other one? Find my notes here. Bremen. So we got those. All right, so tonight you got Bowden trying to bounce back from the loss to Macon County. Mount Zion got their win. They get Rambert tonight, trying to get to 2-0. And Villa Rica looks to get in the win column as they are at home tonight. They're entertaining, I'll say, a surprising Northgate team with the victory they had last week, knocking off Stars Mill. All right, let's start with Bowden. Red Devils lose on the road last week, 26-0. I'm sure there are people already, in just down. They're just despondent about after losing.
Discombobulated.
Hey, last year they lose the first game, didn't hurt them. They went on to win the title a season ago, and it's the same bunch who I think got a few more players maybe this year than they had last year. So, what do you take away from Bowden getting beat last week, 26-0?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I saw, and I know that Coach Finley and his staff has worked on this tremendously this week, but 18 yards passing last week. Prothrow, who is one of the AJC Super 11, Georgia commit, had 10 yards receiving, and so I know this week they're going to be looking to get things in the air a little bit more, spread the field out, and they'll have that opportunity tonight, I believe, against Macon County, who lost last week 44-7. So Fellowship Christians, man, they're a great school. I think they're ranked number 3 in that private school classification, and so won last year. Obviously, a lot tighter game, but Bowden's well coached. They're gonna make their adjustments, and I look for them to Prothrow, Hopkins, Perkins, the whole crew. They're gonna have a big night tonight. So watch out. I don't want to be Macon County tonight.
All is not lost in Red Devil country, is it?
No, and Fellowship plays Hebron tonight. Hebron won the state last year in that.
Fellowship went to the semis, I think, didn't they?
They did, and they lost a close one to Prince, I think. So that's going to be interesting. But I feel like Bowden is going to be in good shape. I think Fellowship had a good plan last week. When I talked to Coach Finley the other night, Fellowship was good enough in the box that they could kind of cheat some guys out there on the perimeter and kind of make it a little tough on Bowden's passing game. So I think not everybody's going to have that luxury that you're going to run across. Macon County will have some athletes. They'll be a good football team, but they're not going to be Fellowship. So Bowden, I think it's important when you come off a loss and you're disappointed that you come out the next week, and especially playing at home and you get off to a fast start. So if Bowden can come out fast tonight, come out quick, strike early, and kind of get the momentum, they got a chance to have a big night. But, you always want to play good at home in a home opener. But like I said, losing to Fellowship last week is not an indication of how the season's going to end for sure.
They got they only have 4 home games at Bowden this year. So I think tonight there's a new class going in their Hall of Fame that they're announcing tonight.
I think last year maybe it may have been West Side or might have been Macon County. It was supposed to be at home. Game. It was supposed to be a away game, but because of the weather down in Middle Georgia and they had storms come through, they moved the game to Bowden maybe on Wednesday. So that gave them 6, and now this year they got 4. So there was a little quirk last year with the weather down in Middle Georgia. So I think that's what happened to the schedule.
And they only fell from the top spot in the preseason poll in Class A Division II, fell from 1 to 3, I think, this week in the state rankings.
There's not many teams that's going to be on that level in Class A Division II. So, no, I don't think they're going to fall far. So, but it'll be interesting to see tonight how they start, how they come out early, and see how they compete.
So Mount Zion had a good win last week to start the year, 27-6 on the road at Chattahoochee County. They win that one. Talking to Brad Gordon, as you did, they left it on the ground inside the 10-yard line a couple of times.
Yeah, they left a couple scores. They left a couple scores on the field. They felt like they really more or less dominated the game. The score wasn't totally indicative of the difference between the two teams. But, again, I think going out there getting that early win helps. But they want to finish drive. They had 2 or 3 fumbles inside the 10, knocking on the door. So if they can kind of clean up some of those things, they've got a good 1-2 punch in the backfield with Rashad Montgomery and Keziah Aki. And they're both kind of different runners, but they're both Keziah's probably more of a burst guy, a quick hitter. And Rashad's got good speed too, but he's a good vision runner. He can kind of see it and kind of get up there in that crease and kind of make a cut. So they're a good 1-2 punch. And then Knox Israel, I look for him to come out and play well tonight. So that should be a good game against Rammer. That was a great game last year. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. But Mount Zion defensively, I think they're down one of their top players. Actually got hurt in an accident this week, not on the field or at practice, but had a kind of a fluky thing happen and cut his arm, so he's going to be out for maybe a week or 2. Jay Nackey, their linebacker, so hadn't talked to anybody today or yesterday from Mount Zion. Talked to some guys Wednesday. I think that's the day it happened. So they were hoping to get good news, but doubt if he's playing tonight.
Jay, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. I like what I'm seeing in Mount Zion right now. I'll go back to when they scrimmaged Bremen first half of that game, and man, they looked good. They played strong. They played tough against Bremen, and then last week, as you said, 27-6 over Chattahoochee County, and then really left some on the field. And so I think Mount Zion's clicking right now. I think, man, I love the leader that Knox Israel is. He just kind of grabs those guys on both sides of the ball and puts them on his shoulders a little bit. And so I expect them. I know last year was a close game with them and Ramburn, but I think Ramburn's probably a little down this year, and I expect Mount Zion to come out and take care of business. And I think it's big for them to start off 2-0. That's a big deal for confidence for the Eagles, and I'm praying that they can do that.
Now, as you mentioned power rankings earlier, this game does not count in the power rankings, does it? Because it's out of
Class A Division II is not a power ranking deal.
But it wouldn't because it's out of state, correct?
It wouldn't because it's out of state, but it's not a that part of Class A is not doesn't follow their regular playoff format, seed 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not going to affect them one way or the other. But obviously, you want to get the win to keep going because you only got 4 region games, so there's not a lot of margin for error.
43-36 was last year's score. You look for a shootout like that tonight?
I don't think so. I think we're going to see a little bit more of a defensive thing tonight. We'll see. I don't know. I'm calling it different. We'll see.
Well,
Ramburn hasn't played. Has Mount Zion got an edge, having one game under their belt, or has Ramburn got an edge because they know a little bit more about Mount Zion?
No,
Mount Zion knows
as
about
a coach, I'd much rather have that game than have another film on somebody because, and I think Jay's right. Mount Zion has probably improved defensively as much as anything, and especially in the box. So I think they're going to be a much tougher team. Ramburn had a really good scheme last year. They had a really good offensive line, a good quarterback. They had a big, strong running back. So what they did last year was kind of old school. They ran some triple stuff, but then they got some spread stuff too. So they kind of kept you off balance a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how they attack Mount Zion tonight. But I really feel like Mount Zion's improved defensively leaps and bounds. I saw that in the Bremen scrimmage, by far.
Yep.
All right, last one, Villa-Rica and Northgate. Northgate, I think, got some attention this week. They beat Stars Mill, which is a good win for them. Villa-Rica scored some points, but they couldn't slow down Troop. 42-31 was the final there last week. So now, week 2, what's big for Villa-Rica in this one tonight?
Well, I'll say, they got to slow them down. Villa-Rica, they got a tough start to the schedule. You got Troop County, you got Northgate, and then you got Central coming up. So that's 3 pretty tough games to start the year with I think being super important to get some confidence going for those guys. I think what I see is I look at Northgate beating Stars Mill last week 27-21, and Northgate had 321 yards on the ground last week. Their running back had 252 rush yards last week. So I think they're going to come in looking to ground and pound tonight. I think Villa-Rica's going to have to sit there and go, hey, can we go toe-to-toe with them and get 7 in the box and stop them a little bit. I think that's going to be a big challenge for Villa-Rica tonight.
Do you know Coach Whitley at Northgate?
I do. He used to recruit us when I was at Georgia Southern, and then he was actually the head coach at Creekside back when I was first at Villa-Rica, and then he later moved on to Stockbridge, and he did a great job at Creekside. He had Eric Berry, and he had some really good teams there.
That might be a good coach.
But they were really one of the better coach teams we played defensively. They were always in the right spot. His DC at Creekside is the guy that's now the head coach of Douglas County. So those guys were really they were together on the same page, and they always had good linemen. Then he went to Stockbridge, and Stockbridge was a bad program when he got there, and it didn't take him long. About year 2 or 3, they started to turn that thing around, and he had some great teams at Stockbridge. He stayed there about 10 or 11 years. So he's a winner, and he's a good coach. But Austin, I talked to him a little bit Tuesday night. He's concerned about some of their kids, been banged up and that kind of stuff. And I talked to some people down at Troop this week, and they were impressed with Villa-Rica, but Villa-Rica just I think they were short a couple people last week, and it kind of hurt them against a good team.
I think I saw last week too with Villa-Rica. I think we talked about this on the tailgate or the red zone a little bit. Was they didn't roll over against Troop. Yeah. They showed some fight in them.
That's right.
They brought that thing back to 42-31, and I'm going to say, man, that's Coach Barron does an incredible job. Those guys play hard for him, and they're going to come out and play tonight. They're going to play hard, and I like what I saw last week. Simply not rolling over. I think it tells you a little bit about the guts of the team.
All right, so we're going through our schedule breakdown, brought to you by Carrollton City Schools, where they expect excellence in every person, in every program, in every performance. We go for gold at Carrollton City Schools. So we're going to roll ahead. I tell you, adjust, as I said, move on the fly. We got Brandon Wood coming up here in a bit. So our final 3 games that we haven't talked about, we got Carrollton and Columbia, you got Central at Oxford, and then right here, Haralson County, Pike County. So Carrollton, Columbia, really no worry for the Trojans tonight, is there?
No, I don't think so. If you think Villa-Rica had a tough start, let's look at the Columbia. They started with Cartersville last week. lost 44-0, and now they've got Carrollton. So
in college, you would call those money games or buy games? That's what they're doing now.
They are getting the money right now.
They're playing
for
money
sure.
games.
So, I don't see any problems for Carrollton tonight. I think they continue to roll and get that young freshman quarterback some work early. Really like what I saw last week. Coach said it earlier. His kind of big takeaway was Carrollton ain't going nowhere. They're still really good, and what I see right now is a true two-quarterback system that they're running, at least for these first few games, to see what they got. But, man.
Makes it tough on the other team's defensive coordinator, too, because he's got to have 2 plans in mind.
Yep. So, but no, I think they roll tonight. I don't think it's much of a competition for them, but don't get hurt. Be the best you can be. Don't worry about Columbia. Be Carrollton and set the standard and go from there.
So, Carrollton, you can hear that game tonight versus Columbia on KISS 102.7. To me, the most attractive matchup, or the game that could be the most exciting, is going to be at Lamar Field in Oxford, just across the state line. Yellow Jackets, another Mims at quarterback, a different one against Central as they host the Lions tonight, and that's an 8 o'clock kick. I'll start with you, Coach.
Well, Oxford has been a traditional power for a long, long time. I don't know a lot about this year's Oxford edition. I know last year I think they were 13-1. They went out in the semifinals. They beat Central in a shootout last year. Knowing that Central's got a lot of their offensive kids back, you got to feel pretty good about your offense. Defensively, my question is, can you stop the big play or at least slow them down? Because, if you make a team go 8-10 plays before they score, or as they got the ball, there's a chance they're going to make a mistake. But if they're scoring in 2 or 3 plays, offensively as a coordinator, that's what you're looking for. So, but you don't want to get into a scoring match. You want to, obviously you take a win's a win, but it's hard to match a team if they're capable of scoring like Oxford was. Now, Central obviously got some really good kids on the offensive side of the ball. So I think it's going to be a great game. That's probably the biggest game in the area tonight, I think, really by far. 2 excellent teams, 2 good programs, 2 well-coached teams, and 2 teams that got some really good players.
I think so. I put here on my notes Payback and Walton Brothers. And that's I think that sums it up. I think Coach said it. The Mims kid's going to be an incredible athlete. He is a sophomore, a little bit younger, man. His older brother was a great player, now playing at the D1 level, and I know some of the receivers they had. So I think last year was probably a little bit more of a shootout. I look for Central to kind of slow it down on the ground a little bit, a little pound with the Walton brothers. And
I think Oxford lost more key people than Central did from last year. I think that'll be the difference. And the other side note to this is you got a young man whose roots go to Tallapoosa, quarterbacking at Oxford, and a young man whose roots are at Ranburne, quarterbacking Central in that game tonight. How about that?
Absolutely.
All right, our last matchup going to take place right behind us here. Pike County, Haralson County. I did the game down there last year in Zebulon, down to the wire. Haralson County really could have won the game. That was one of the tough ones they lost last year. Had several like that. It was a 1-point game, a missed extra point being the difference. And I think it's going to be a very similar game tonight. Close, probably about the same amount of points. Haralson County a great start. Pike County a great start last week. How do you guys? Coach, I'll start with you.
Well, I saw some film on Pike this week, and they defensively they played pretty well last week. Offensively, they got off to a slow start. So I really think this is probably a 4-quarter game, which means it's probably going to come down to 2 things: conditioning and probably who makes the least mistakes, the least number of mistakes. So I think the 2 teams are pretty evenly matched. I think both teams are on the rise. I know Stephen Holmes has done a good job at Pike, and he's building that program. Crutchfield's doing the same thing here at Haralson. He's trying to build this program, and I feel like this one's going to go down the wire. This could be, a 20. What was it last year? 21-20.
21-20.
Could be a very similar type game to that. I think it'll go down the wire, and be a shot for the Rebels to go 2-0. And anytime you can go 2-0, that's better than being 1-1.
Jay,
I think so. I don't know if there's a more even match on the books tonight for us in our games. I was looking at this. Haralson County's ranked number 43 if you look at max preps in Class A Division I. And Pike County's number 43 in 2A. So you're looking at 2, and if you look at the state ranks, they got Haralson County at 333 and Pike County at 377. So these 2 teams right here, I think is evenly matched as you can be. I think both of them want it. I think both of them want to start off strong. Haralson County wants to start 2-0. They want to get payback from last year. And I've got flipping the score from last year, Haralson County on top this time.
So let's look at all of our games coming up tonight on the Carrollton City Schools Regional Breakdown. Carrollton City Schools, we are the standard for achievement, innovation, service, and success. Want to see why? Schedule a tour. Go online, find out more. Carrollton City Schools. One of the all-time greats here, Brandon Wood, standing by. We're going to talk to him when we continue the Innovative Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing Broadcast tent on Braddock Sports.
Say what now?
So we'll do about 10 to 12.
Maybe we'll get the PM we got next week. Won't be too hard of a question. You got it. I believe you.
Welcome back to Taylor Stadium, Haralson County High School, in our Innovative Benefits Consulting Tailgate Show under the Deep South Roofing Broadcast tent. Innovative Benefits Consulting in Bremen and Villa Rica. Measurable and proven strategies to take your employee benefit plan to the next level. They're making this possible here this evening. It has gotten hot in a hurry here in Tallapoosa, Georgia. One of the all-time greats is standing by, and he's going to join us here. I think I got him turned on. Brandon Wood played here back in the early 2000s, mid, I guess, 2000 here in there, right?
That's right. 02 to 6. Yeah.
And went to Athens, played for Coach Richt. Pretty good teams over there. Pretty good teammates you played with over there.
Yeah.
Some big names and whatnot. So we'll talk about what you do here every year have done for the past several years at Haralson County. To come back in here and stand here and where you laid out a lot of blood and sweat and tears down there, what does it mean for Brandon Wood to walk back in this place?
Man, it's always a good feeling to come back home. Of course, the stadium's changed since I played, but feels still the same. Walk in, all the memories that that I had, playing here, and just the good times. I mean, we wasn't always the best. First couple of years we were we were not very good. Now we did play in a very, very hard region. But, man, I still think about the Friday nights. Friday nights here were just unbelievable.
You played for Scott Peavy and Frank Vohan, correct?
Right. Yep. Played for Coach Peavy first 3 years and Coach Vohan my last year. And both were very, very influential to me becoming the player that I became. Coach Peavy really pushed me early on, freshman year. I never forget. We still talk about to this day that he blamed me for the Bremen loss because I couldn't get a yard. But
weight room, right?
Well, I mean, hey, the line got pushed back, in my lap, and I couldn't get 1 yard, and so that always stuck with me, and that pushed me, as I got older to work a little harder and to make sure that not one person can bring me down when I run the ball.
So I'm over here yesterday talking to Coach Patterson. He's our special feature at halftime tonight. Yeah. We're in the historical room in there. Mm-hmm. I'd forgotten you actually wore number 24 in high school, right?
I did. I wore number 24. I started out 34, and then moved to 24.
Yeah, some guy named Marino wore 24.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was pretty good. He wore a whole lot better than I did.
Your time in Athens, Coach Rick, he was here at your camp a few years ago, and I'll always remember all those guys that played for him that were here. When we get here with him after picking him up at the airport and bringing him across, it was amazing. Just the way the guys reacted and just gravitated to him and toward him that day showed me what he meant to them, I guess, as their head coach. And you were the same way, obviously.
Oh yeah, man. Coach Rick was your father away from home. He loved you. I mean, he just didn't say it. He really showed it. And he was hard on you. You know, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, Coach Rick was soft." No, he wasn't. you wasn't in there when they closed the door. And you know the interaction that we had with him when he wasn't happy. It wasn't always great, but man, for the most part, Coach Rick, awesome guy. There's not one guy that played for him that will say anything bad about him. And that's why all the guys gravitated towards him when they saw him when he came here, because he means so much to a lot of people.
All right, the Brandon Wood football camp, late May, early June, whatever the date falls. What led you to get going and to start that and give back to the community as you have?
Well, I started doing these football camps for some former teammates and some other people, and they were in areas where, they're
more affluent.
More, Alpharetta and stuff like that. And I was like, man, there's not anything like that going on around the West Georgia area. And I was like, wouldn't it be something if I created something like this? And really didn't think that it would go or be as big as it is today. But I wanted to some kind of way give back and also help out with athletics, and that's kind of where it all started from. And so had a plan, put together a team, and I got a fantastic team. I never forget when I first thought about it. I called my mom and I told her. I actually had tears in my eyes just thinking about it, and like, this is what I want to do. And she's like, do it. And it's like God laid it on my heart. This is the plan. This is your footsteps. I want you to follow these steps. And that's what I've been doing, and just been a servant. And it's really just worked out. And we've been able to get some guys in that you never would have thought that would come to Harrison County.
And this guy to my left is someone at my house reminded me, big part in starting the first golf tournament. He
did. I called Jay. I said, look, man, this is what I want to do. And he gave me the blueprint and said, this is what you need to do. This is who you reach out to. And we started very, very small. I think we had the first tournament we had. I think we had 8 teams maybe. Yep. And from that point, fast forward to today, I mean, we're 30 teams. Yep. But big shout out to Jay, man, for really guiding me through the whole process. Because I mean, you guys do a huge camp with golf tournament with FCA, and so I knew he was the right person for me to talk to, because he put on the FCA golf tournament. I know he could teach me and coach me how to do mine. All
right, so COVID, you didn't have a tournament or a camp that year, so 7 years, I guess. Is that correct? Something like that? 7 years?
Yes.
I know you're going to present a check at halftime tonight.
Right. Yep.
So in that 7-year period, you have now given well over $100,000 to the football program, or to Harrison County.
Harrison County as a whole. So,
and let me stop before you go there. Not only you do that, but you've also given money to FCA, Special Olympics, and I know you do a back-to-school shopping spree for it. It started, with 2 or 4, and now you're at 6 or 8?
Yep.
That's what it is?
Yep.
So that's grown there, too, with that back-to-school shopping spree.
And then we, last year, actually this year, past school year, we did scholarship endowments. So two scholarship endowments, so we're going to keep that going. And then this Christmas, we will have something that we're rolling out. We rolled out last year, but it'll be it's named after my niece that was killed through domestic violence, and so we're putting this together for a single mom that needs some help. And so we'll be giving $1,000 to a deserving mother with kids, of course. And but yeah, it's been great.
Did you ever think you'd be able to give back like that?
No, never thought about it. I never thought that it would grow as large as it did. We've had some really, really great sponsors that believed in what we're doing. This community has really rallied behind us, the team, and like I mentioned earlier, we've given back over $100,000 to the community, but over 80,000 went to football. So tonight we'll be presenting a check for I think $15,000 that's going towards cheerleading, football, and boys and girls basketball.
Wow, that is great. Yeah. And the camp, I know one thing that you're proud of. I mean, it's real instruction that you do. It's the older kids on Friday night, the younger boys on Saturday morning. And I go back, DJ Shockley's been here, Rennie Curran. Geno Atkins has been here several years. Some big names. Georgia, you've had guys from other schools. That Poole guy that played at Auburn, you know. And Blake's he's here every year.
Champ Bailey.
Bailey's been. I forgot about Champ. You had a guy from Michigan. David was here, I think, for several years, too, as part of the camp. And they get individual instruction, too, during this camp, don't they?
Yeah. So when I was doing these camps for my former teammates, I saw what they did, and I realized what I wanted to do. So I kind of took what they were doing and then just kind of changed a little bit. I really wanted to be a real camp and not just a money grab. Because I was just an average player or whatever. But so my name is not really going to bring people in as much as some of the other big names. And so that's why I try to get some of the bigger names out, and because you're going to get one-on-one training with some guys that played at the highest level. And then you'll get a little bit from me too. I know a little bit too. But so you're one-on-one training with these guys. We're really putting you through these drills for 4 hours. And then also, too, the 7-on-7. Guys really love to do the 7-on-7
it's
tournament.
very competitive at the end of the night.
And I think this year or next year we're going to put something a little different together to really bring in more 7-on-7 type teams that want to come in and do this camp. Because not only will you be able to play in the tournament, but also you get better for 3 hours.
Do you have a date for next year yet?
It'll be the 1st of June. That's what I know right now. It'll be the 1st of June. We always want to have it right after school, right before everything kind of gets started with the Everybody's programs around the West Georgia area and these other camps that are going on. So I really want to get on the front end, and it's open to all of West Georgia. I created this West Georgia area, and now we have it at Harrison County, but it's for the whole West Georgia area.
And there are kids from all the area schools that are here.
Yeah, we usually have just about every school that's represented in the West Georgia area usually have 1 or 2 people or a couple more show up.
And you live in the Metro Atlanta area, and that's helped from that standpoint with a few from over there, too.
Yeah, we usually have a good bit of kids come over from the Kennesaw area. When I was coaching at North Cobb Middle School and then Kennesaw Mountain Middle School. So we have a mixture between North Cobb Christian, North Cobb, and Kennesaw Mountain kids that come over.
You know anything?
No, I'd just say kudos to.
Last thing before we wrap this up, y'all may not even know this. So he got into officiating, and he is a big-time college football official now. And your third year in the Big 12?
It's my second year.
Second year, okay. I was trying to help you there.
Yep.
And I know you can't go into specifics, but that's pretty cool, I guess, to still be involved in football and be at the highest level of college football doing it.
Yeah, it is great. And, week one's next week, so this is my last weekend open for the next 6 weeks. Then I'm on the road, leave on Friday or leave on Thursday because I do have a Friday night game in between then. But it's fun, man, going to different stadiums, and seeing different cultures and just being back on the field and giving back. That's my way of giving back to college football too, because we need quality officials, and I try to be that quality official and call the right stuff.
DT, you'll love this. He's the umpire. That's his position. He's umpire.
Good man.
Right in the middle, right where it all goes down. Yeah, that's where all action, the hub.
So the defensive guy probably called a lot of hold on offense.
So the 2 years you've been in FBS football, who's the worst coach in it? Who's been on you the most?
Oh man, I can't tell you. I can't tell you that. No, I've had some interesting coaches.
I bet you have.
Yeah, I've been in college football since 2017, but I've been in FBS since.
You were an American Athletic.
Yeah, I was an American from what was it? 21?
Yeah,
I think it was 21, something like that. Yeah, so I've had some interesting coaches. I've had some interesting bowl games, and I won't go into details of the coaches are, but I've had some coaches that probably don't like me.
Would you like to get to the SEC someday?
Well,
you can't do Georgia, I know.
No, I can't do Georgia, and so that. And people ask me that often, like, okay, is the next step the SEC? No, the next step's the NFL.
Would you like to do that?
That's the route that I'm on. Yeah. Now, SEC was to come calling. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I love the Big 12. I have a great time in the Big 12. But my next step is the NFL.
Well, I can tell you, the guy that went from Jacksonville State to West Virginia, if you've got him this year, get ready is all I'm going to tell you. He knows how to challenge the first
I've heard.
Thank you, man. Keep up the good work here
thanks,
around the community.
Yep.
Thanks for what you do, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon.
Brandon Wood, product of Harrison County High School, Georgia Bulldogs, giving back through his Brandon Wood football camp. All right, that's our time for the evening, folks. We got to get out of here because coming up, we got Coaches Clinic. All of our coaches are going to hear from them throughout the night, talking about their upcoming games. And again, running down the games for tonight. Temple's at home with Clarkston. Heard County will be at home this evening, South Atlanta. Bremen starts the season with the Jordan Red Jackets. Then at Mount Zion, they will host the Rambert Bulldogs. Remind you that is an 8 o'clock kick, Mount Zion and Rambert fans from that standpoint. Bowden's hosting Macon County at Villa Rica, their home opener, with Northgate coming in. Carrollton's got Columbia at Grisham Stadium. 20 consecutive regular season wins for the Trojans. They haven't lost since the opening game of the 2023 season. The last time they lost a regular season game. Central's at Oxford. That ought to be very entertaining. That's an 8 o'clock kick. And then right here behind us on the grass, the only grass field left in this area. Right, yep. Everything else is artificial surface now. Haralson County hosting Pike County. Those games are coming up. Haralson County, you can hear it on King Country, Carrollton, and its home outing with Columbia. That one on KISS 102.7. Villa Rica Northgate on Great Classics 98.9. And then that Central Oxford game, you can hear it on B92 Country. For David Thrower, for Jay Webb, I'm Mike Parris. We thank you for your time. Hope you've enjoyed our show, radio-wise or through Facebook Live video stream, our YouTube stream as well. And it pains me, but Joel Brock, great job again, as always, by you getting it set up. You kept the rain away today, thankfully. Our show has been a presentation of Benefits Consulting Tailgate under the week at 5 o'clock as well. Probably going to talk to you at Sewell Field for that matchup down there. It'll be a pretty good one. Bowden and Bremen will go at it next week. For all the guys, for Joel, thank you. Stand by. Coach's Clinic coming next.